Have you ever felt a chill crawl up your spine? That icy prickle that makes your heart pound, as if someone's whispering a terrible truth into your ear from the shadows? David feels it now. Standing over his mother's grave, Clara's grave, he's no longer just a grieving son. He's a hunter of truth, a truth he fears might tear his very soul apart. Each thrust of the shovel is a stab into the past. Clara, his gentle mother with a smile like sunlight, left this world too suddenly. The doctors called it a heart attack. But David doesn't believe it. Can't believe it. The funeral was a blur, rushed like a fleeting gust of wind, no time for tears, no time for questions. And his father, Mark, he wouldn't meet David's eyes, his lips pressed tight as if guarding a sinister secret. Last night, David dreamed of her. She screamed, her bloodied hands clawing at the darkness. That dream clings to him now, a warning from beyond the grave. The earth yields reluctantly, as if trying to pull him back, to shield him from what should never be seen. But David doesn't stop. His muscles ache, sweat mingles with tears, dripping onto the ground like invisible blood. And then, there it is. The coffin. A weathered wooden box, caked in black soil, like a living tomb ready to swallow anyone who dares disturb it. He pauses, breath held, hands trembling as they hover over the lid. He knows right now that everything is about to change forever. The lid swings wide, and David's world shatters. Clara lies there, eyes closed, her skin waxy white under the faint dawnlight. But then, he sees it. Her hands, those hands that once cradled him, are clenched into fists. Fingernails broken, caked with dried, black blood. Her lips parted, as if frozen mid-scream, a plea no one heard. And on the coffin lid, deep, jagged scratches, stretching desperately, the marks of a soul fighting to claw its way out of hell. His blood turns to ice. Not a heart attack. Not an accident. His mother was buried alive. She woke in that suffocating dark, screaming, scratching, begging for life. But no one heard. No one saved her. David clutches his head, tears spilling like a flood, sobs choking his voice. "Mom! I'm so sorry," he whispers, the words lost in the frigid wind. But then, from the depths of his agony, a fire ignites. Who did this? Who stole her from him in such a cruel, merciless way? I need to report a crime. My mother, she was buried alive. I'm at the cemetery. Please, come now. The police are coming. The ghastly truth is laid bare. But this is only the beginning. Someone ripped Clara from this world with ruthless intent, and David won't rest until they pay. Dark secrets lie in wait, buried deep within lies and betrayal. Dare you follow him into the shadows? The air grows heavy, thick with the stench of unearthed secrets. The police descend like vultures on a fresh kill, their light slicing through the mist, but nothing can banish the darkness clinging to this place. Clara's grave yawns wide, a silent scream from the earth, and her son David stands on the edge of madness. He's seen the unthinkable. His mother didn't just die. She suffered. And now, the hunt for her killer begins, a hunt that will drag him into a nightmare deeper than any grave. Detective Harris steps forward, a tall figure with eyes like steel traps, cutting through the chaos with cold precision. She's seen death before, but this is something else. The forensic team confirms it. Clara was alive when the dirt sealed her in. Her nails, torn and bloody, tell a story of terror no one can unhear. Bruises bloom faintly on her wrists, signs of a struggle against an unseen hand. David's voice trembles as he speaks, each word a shard of glass cutting through the silence. She didn't just die. Something was wrong, I knew it. The funeral was too fast, like they couldn't wait to bury her. And my father, he's been a ghost since she's gone. Avoiding me. Hiding something. I had to know the truth.
Harris nods, her pen scratching notes like a raven pecking at bones. Her gaze flicks to the coffin, then back to David, sharp and unyielding. She smells blood in the air, not just Clara's, but the kind that stains a guilty soul.
Your father, she says, her voice ablade. Where is he now? David's reply is a whisper, at home. I think. He doesn't know I'm here.
But the doubt in his eyes betrays him. He's already picturing Mark's face, cold, calculating, a mask hiding a monster.
The cemetery hums with tension, a web of suspicion tightening around David's heart.
His father, Mark, a man of few words and fewer tears. And then there's Evelyn, his father's shadow, the woman with a smile too perfect, too practiced.
David's gut twists.
He's seen them together, their glances too intimate, their laughter too sharp.
Could they have done this? Could they have silenced his mother's beating heart and buried her screams beneath 6 feet of dirt? She didn't die naturally. Sedatives, high dose.
She slipped into a coma, but she woke up down there.
Those scratches, she fought till the end.
The words hit David like a sledgehammer.
Sedatives. A coma.
His mother trapped in a living death, clawing at her wooden prison as the air ran out. His knees buckle, but he catches himself, fury rising through the grief.
Someone did this. Someone
watched her fade, declared her gone, and shoveled the earth over her cries. Harris turns to him, her expression carved from stone.
This is homicide now, David.
We'll talk to your father, anyone who touched her last moments.
Tell me who might have wanted her gone.
David's mind races, a storm of shadows and half-formed truths. His father's icy distance after her death, never a tear, never a crack in his armor. And Evelyn, slinking into their lives like a snake, her perfume lingering in the house even before Clara was cold. He hesitates, the weight of his suspicion choking him. I don't know, he finally rasps, but my father, he didn't grieve.
And Evelyn, she's been around too much.
I don't trust her.
Never have.
Harris nods, her eyes narrowing like a predator locking onto prey. We'll dig into it, she says, her voice a promise of retribution.
But you're coming to the station. This is just the start, David. Are you ready for what's coming?
He looks back at the coffin, at his mother's frozen scream, and nods.
I'm ready, he whispers.
I want the truth, no matter how dark it gets. The wheels of justice grind into motion, but the air grows colder, heavier. Something watches from the edges, something that knows the full, festering truth. Mark's interrogation looms, and Evelyn's name hangs like a curse. David's world is unraveling, thread by bloody thread, and the deeper he digs, the more the shadows tighten their grip.
The grave has spoken. Now, the living must answer. Can you hear the whispers growing louder? Justice has claws, and they sink deep today.
The courtroom is a battlefield, where truth and lies clash in a storm of whispered accusations.
Mark and Evelyn, father and betrayer, lover and conspirator, face the reckoning.
Their confessions, cold and venomous, hang in the air, but it's the evidence from Clara's exhumation that seals their fate. David sits at the heart of it all, a son-turned avenger, his mother's silent screams echoing in his every word. The end is near, but the shadows cling tighter than ever.
The trial is a slaughter.
Mark's smug admission, he drugged her, sped her weak heart to its end, rings hollow against the proof of her struggle. Evelyn's sneer, her claim that Clara didn't deserve him, curdles the air. The needle marks on Clara's arm, the sedatives in her blood, the bruises, they paint a picture of calculated cruelty.
David's testimony is the killing blow.
His voice trembles but never breaks as he recounts the grave, the horror, the betrayal.
The jury's faces harden, there's no doubt left to sow.
Mark Thompson and Evelyn Carter, you are found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder.
Sentenced to life in prison, no possibility of parole. May you carry the weight of your sins.
The gavel falls like a thunderclap, and the room exhales a collective shudder of relief and disgust. Mark's smirk vanishes, replaced by a flicker of something, fear, perhaps, or the ghost of regret. Evelyn's composure shatters, she snarls, thrashing against the bailiffs, her perfect mask torn away to reveal the monster beneath. David watches, his heart a tangle of grief and grim satisfaction. His mother's killers are caged, but the victory tastes of ash. She's still gone, and the void she left gnaws at him. The sun dips low, painting the world in hues of fire and sorrow. David returns to her, to the earth that failed to hold her gently. The headstone gleams, etched with her name, Clara Thompson, a quiet monument to a life stolen. He places the flowers down, his fingers brushing the cold stone as if it could carry his touch to her. "It's over, Mom," he whispers, his voice cracking like brittle ice.
"They're gone. They can't hurt anyone else." Tears spill, carving paths down his dirt-streaked face, but a faint resolve hardens his gaze.
He kneels, a broken son seeking absolution.
"I miss you every day," he chokes out, "but I'll make you proud. I promise." The wind answers, wrapping around him, warm despite the evening chill.
It carries her scent, jasmine and memories, stronger now, as if she's there, brushing his cheek with invisible hands. For a heartbeat, the world stills. The shadows retreat, and a presence lingers, soft, loving, eternal.
Clara's spirit, unshackled at last, whispers peace into the silence.
"I love you, Mom," he murmurs, and the words drift into the ether, carried by the breeze. For the first time in months, the weight lifts, just a little. The road ahead stretches long and dark, but he's not alone. Her love clings to him, a shield against the void, guiding him through the wreckage. He turns away, footsteps steady on the grass, as the sun sinks below the horizon. The sky ignites in a final blaze of color, and the cemetery falls quiet save for the faint rustle of leaves, whispering her farewell. The darkness has been faced, the guilty condemned.
David emerges stronger, scarred but unbroken.
Yet the grave holds its secret still, a quiet witness to a love that death couldn't steal.
The story ends, but the echoes remain. Can you feel her watching? Can you hear the peace she's found?
Subscribe, if you dare, for more tales where the shadows speak.